Part 41. Three Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 401. Lu Feng saw that Ma Chao's words were agreed by many people, including Huang Zhong. Only Zhao Yun did not say anything. Obviously he had different ideas, so Lu Feng looked at Zhao Yun and asked Zilong, "What do you think?" Faced with Lu Feng's question, Zhao Yun did not shirk and said directly, "Your Majesty, I think that if in peacetime, our army hangs out the no-war card, it may be able to delay it for a few days. But now Sui the army is short of food and grass. If they cannot advance into Yangzhou city as soon as possible, the 200,000 troops will have nothing to eat, which will easily lead to a mutiny. Moreover, Emperor Sui Yang is still in the army. He cannot tolerate starving to death or a mutiny by the army. They will not take the battle-free card into account, and may even directly send a large army to attack our army camp. Although our army has top infantry such as Longliu soldiers, there are few people after all, and the largest number of troops are cavalry. But whether it is the Lord's Red Blood Dragon Cavalry, White Horse Yi Kong, Bingzhou Wolf Cavalry and Longcheng Iron Cavalry will not be able to exert their advantages in the battle to attack the position. If they are allowed to attack the camp, our army's cavalry will not be able to perform to its due level, and it is very likely to cause unforeseen consequences. Necessary loss. And my lord, your own martial arts has already surpassed the Wuji warrior and reached the supreme tiger general. It is easy to deal with Yuan Chengdu. Therefore, according to my suggestion, I still hope that my lord will go out to fight against Yuan Chengdu, which can prove to the world that my lord. Secondly, it can directly kill Yuan Chengdu and weaken the Sui army's strength. Thirdly, it can improve the morale of our army. In addition, after Yuan Chengdu's death, the Sui army has no other generals available. Our army can directly attack and kill Yuan Chengdu. Kill Emperor Yang of the Sui dynasty and recruit the 200,000 strong army of the Great Sui dynasty. Zhao Yun's words shocked Dian Wei, Ma Chao and others present that they had never come up with such a plan. Lu Feng clapped his hands after hearing this. Zilong's words are very popular with me. Since Yuan Chengdu is so eager to die, I will give him a ride, so that he will not feel invincible. After hearing Lu Feng's decision, the general worshipped, "Your Majesty is mighty." Yuan Chengdu called for a long time in front of the Dragon Kingdom formation, but no one came out. He was a little depressed and was about to signal Yuan Huaji to order the army to attack the camp directly. However, at this moment, the door of the Longguo camp opened wide, and a general walked out slowly, holding a long spear and riding a dark horse. When Yuan Chengdu saw this man's extraordinary temperament, and when he appeared, all the officers and soldiers of the Dragon Kingdom had expressions of admiration on their faces. He immediately knew that this man must be the Dragon Emperor Lu Feng. So Yuan Chengdu said with a smile, "I thought that the mighty Dragon Emperor of the Dragon Empire was too frightened by my name to come out to fight. It seems that I underestimate you." Lu Feng saw Yuan Chengdu being so arrogant. Also smiled and said, "You Yuan Chengdu can't even defeat my general Lu Buledin, so you are so anxious to challenge me, and I don't know who gave you the confidence. Is it because you Li Mi occupied Lucca and cut off your retreat route back to the west has made you crazy?" Yuan Chengdu was shocked when he heard Lu Feng's words. He didn't expect that his information was so well informed. He was about to speak and refute when he heard Lu Feng say, "Since you, General Tianbao, are so eager, I will train with you and send you to hell." _ To read the underlined version of the novel, please download Fei Lu Xiao. Three Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 402. After Lu Feng finished speaking, he clamped his legs around the horse's belly. Mo Kailan was a top-notch war horse trained by the earliest Dragon City horse trainer. Even compared to Red Rabbit, it was not comparable. Up and down. Moreover, it has followed Lu Feng for many years and has already developed a complete tacit understanding with Lu Feng. After receiving Lu Feng's reminder, Without any more words from him, it rushed towards Yuan Chengdu like an arrow off the string. Yuan Chengdu originally wanted to make a few more quibbles because Lu Feng told him about Li Mi leading troops to capture Luca, but he didn't expect that Lu Feng didn't give him a chance to speak and rushed over directly. However, fighting Lu Feng was his original goal, so when he saw Lu Feng charging towards him, Yu Wenqing was not surprised but overjoyed, and he immediately rushed forward with his horse. Although he had known for a long time that Lu Feng had killed Wu Yunzhao and Wu Tiangzi instantly with one person, he had not seen it with his own eyes, and he felt that he could do it, so he was not afraid of Lu Feng at all. Moreover, Lu Feng was able to kill Wu Yunzhao and Wu Tiangzi. At most, it shows that Lu Feng's martial arts skills are stronger, and perhaps his level is a little higher than those of the two. But Yuan Chengdu also regarded Lu Feng as a half-step Wuji general like him, and did not think that he had reached the level of a Wuji general. After all, the Wuji general is already a mythical existence. There are not many in the past and present. Counting further back, there is only Xiang Yu, the overlord of Western Chu who can carry the cauldron. After Xiang Yu, no one appeared in the past 700 or 800 years. Only now did the monster Li Yuanba appear. Therefore, it is not that easy to train the Wuji warrior. Even if it takes 800 years to produce one, it is no exaggeration. And now that there is already a Li Yuanba, Lu Feng cannot be the Wuji warrior. And judging from his age, it is completely impossible for him to be a Wuji Zhan. If you want to become a Wuji warrior, in addition to having extraordinary talents and natural powers like a monster like Li, the most normal way is to practice hard. And the training time is at least 10 years. Obviously Lu Feng, a young man who looks to be in his 20s, cannot become a Wuji warrior through training. But the other way is to be born, but if he is born, he must have been different from ordinary people since he was a child, and he has long been famous in the world. It is impossible for him to remain unknown for 20 years like now and suddenly appear now. Therefore, Yuan Chengdu was not worried about defeating Lu Feng. When he saw Lu Feng rushing forward, he quickly rushed towards him, raised the gold-plated phoenix wings, and prepared to smash it down on his head. In his mind, since Lu Feng was at most the same level as him, he couldn't be much stronger than him. After all, among the half-step Wuji generals, Pei Yuanqing is the strongest, and he is not much worse than Pei Yuanqing, so he is very confident that he can defeat Lu Feng in terms of strength. But when Lu Feng saw Yuan Chengdu running towards him, preparing to hit him on the head, a contemptuous smile appeared on his lips. "Don't a Euro trademark T overestimate your capabilities?" Lu Feng shouted softly, holding the black jade spear in his right hand. With a flick of his wrist, the tip of the spear swept diagonally from the lower right to the upper left, and hit the gold-plated ingot struck by Yuan Chengdu heavily. Boom! As the weapons of the two people collided together, the soldiers on both sides felt as if a burst of thunder was ringing in their ears. Feeler reminds you, 3 things about reading, collecting and promoting. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 3 Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 403. This loud noise caused a sharp pain in the ears. Then, something unexpected happened to all the Sui soldiers. After this blow, Yuan Chengdu's phoenix-winged gold-plated phoenix was actually thrown high into the air. Not only the officers and soldiers of the Sui army were shocked by this scene, but even Yuan Chengdu himself could not believe the scene he had just experienced. In the brief exchange just now, although Lu Feng only gave an understatement, he felt as if a mountain was bombarding him. Without any preparation, the gold-plated phoenix wings in his hand flew unconsciously. Got out. After Yuan Chengdu reacted, he saw Lu Feng still looking at him with a smile, and there seemed to be unconcealable contempt in that smile. Seeing this, Yuan Chengdu gritted his teeth. Seeing that Lu Feng did not rush to chase him while he had no weapons, he scratched his neck and said, "I was not prepared just now. You have the guts to wait for me to get it back. Use the weapon to take another move from me." Lu Feng looked at Yuan Chengdu and said calmly, "Then I will let you get the weapon back, but this is the last time. Use all your strength to attack me." Yuan Chengdu immediately heard this. He ran over, picked up the weapon, and rushed towards Lu Feng again. However, this time Lu Feng did not let him attack. He also rushed over on horseback, and swung the black jade gun and smashed it at Yuan Chengdu. Yuan Chengdu was still frightened by Lu Feng's blow just now. When he saw a shot coming from him, he did not dare to neglect it and raised the gold-plated ingot with both hands to resist. After a loud noise, the two front hooves of Yuan Chengdu's horse were crushed directly, and Yuan Chengdu was naturally thrown under the horse. However, his horse was disabled, and he himself was not feeling well at all. Not only were his arms numb, but the tiger's mouth on his right hand burst open and blood flowed. At this time, Yuan Chengdu already knew Lu Feng's strength clearly and felt deep fear. He had only felt this feeling before when he played against Li Yuanba. But at that time, Li Yuanba used all his strength, but he just couldn't bear it, and it didn't reach the point where the tiger's mouth was shattered and the weapon was released. Could it be that the Lu Feng in front of him was more powerful than Li Yuanba? He thought that having Li Yuanba in this world was incredible enough, but he didn't expect that an even more powerful monster would appear at this time. However, his horse can no longer be ridden. If he wants to retreat to the formation, he will be overtaken by Lu Feng on horseback. It will be more dangerous to turn his back to Lu Feng in the future. Therefore, Yuan Chengdu is not prepared to retreat. "Since I cannot match you in strength, I will use martial arts to defeat you." So he rushed towards Lu Feng with the phoenix-winged gold-plated hammer in his hand, and waved the gold-plated hammer while running. He kept changing his position until he was far enough away from Lu Feng, and finally chose an angle that he thought Lu Feng would never have imagined. Stabbed it. However, Lu Feng had already seen what Yuan Chengdu was thinking. He swiped his inkjade spear and hit the wings of his gold-plated iron. Then he hooked hard, but the gold-plated iron flew away again. And then the gun barrel shook, knocking Yuan Chengdu away. Then Lu Feng caught the falling gold-plated phoenix wing and threw it in the direction where Yuan Chengdu fell. As soon as Yuan Chengdu landed, he was pinned to the ground by the 400 kilograms of gold-plated phoenix wings. To read the ununderlined version of the novel, please download Fei Lu Xiao. Three Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 404. The gold-plated phoenix wing followed Yuan Chengdu to the ground. The tip of the phoenix was inserted directly into Yuan Chengdu's chest. At the same time, the weight of 400 kilograms crushed his entire chest. The huge pressure caused the organs in his abdomen to break and his intestines to bleed all over the floor. He himself spat out a large mouthful of blood and died with his eyes wide open. Seeing this scene, the 200,000 soldiers of the Sui army, as well as Emperor Yang and Yuan Huaji of the Sui dynasty were all surprised. They did not expect that the second best general in the world, Tianbao General Yuan Chengdu, would be killed by the Dragon Emperor so easily. Yuan Huaji lost two sons in just a few days, which made him unable to hold back any longer and burst into tears. But the one who is even more unwilling than them is Yuan Chengdu, who has no breath anymore. He never dreamed that Dragon Emperor Lu Feng, who looked neither tall nor mighty, would have such terrifying strength. Originally, he thought there was a monster like Li Yuanba in this world. It's already unbelievable, but Lu Feng is actually more powerful than Li Yuanba. Moreover, although Li Yuanba is a Wuji general, his brain is not easy to use and is relatively easy to deal with. However, Lu Feng is not only highly skilled in martial arts, but also has a more flexible mind than ordinary people. He has been hiding his strength, making everyone think that he is just a slightly more powerful general, and it is entirely possible for him to defeat him. But once they met, Yuan Chengdu realized that he was no match for Lu Feng. Not only was he unable to catch even one of his moves, but he could easily kill his opponent with just 4 moves. What made him even more unwilling was that in the end, his own turned out to be the phoenix-winged gold-plated phoenix that he had been fighting for decades, killing countless enemies, and making his enemies fearful. However, no matter how unwilling Yu Wenqing was, everything disappeared with his death, and no one cared about it. After all, no one would care about a dead person. According to the original plan formulated by Yu Wenhua, Xiong Qiahe should have suddenly attacked Lu Feng while Lu Feng and Yuan Chengdu were fighting fiercely, helping Yuan Chengdu establish victory in one fell swoop. However, what everyone did not expect was that Lu Feng was so powerful that there was no scene of the two fighting fiercely. Yuan Chengdu was killed by Lu Feng in just 4 rounds. And Xiong Qiahe saw Lu Feng's strong strength in the first round of their fight, when Lu Feng knocked Yuan Chengdu's phoenix-winged gold-plated sword away for the first time. So when he picked up the gold-plated iron in Yuan Chengdu, he stopped waiting and rushed out in the second round of the fight with Lu Feng. Because he has seen that Lu Feng's strength should be higher than that of Yuan Chengdu. If he continues to wait, Yuan Chengdu will be defeated by Lu Feng before long. When he is the only one left, he will be even less likely to be Lu Feng's opponent, and he will be unable to avenge Wu Yunzhao and Wu Tianzi. Therefore, if he wants to defeat Lu Feng, there is only one way, and that is for him to immediately rush up and join Yuan Chengdu. Besieged Lu Feng. But Lu Feng didn't care at all about him rushing over. After all, there was still some distance between the two sides, and during the time when Xiong Qiahe rushed over, he had time to kill Yuan Chengdu. Filu reminds you, 3 things about reading, collecting and recommending. 3 Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 405. But even if they can't be killed, they are definitely no match for him in a 2-on-1 fight. However, Lu Feng didn't care at all that Xiong Qiahe was coming to kill him, but Dian Wei, Lu Buletin and others in the Dragon Kingdom formation didn't think so. When they saw that the other party actually wanted to surround Lu Feng, they were furious and wanted to rush out and kill him. Xiong Qiahe stopped him. And Huang Zhong had already picked up the Wan Xiao Bao, drew out 3 sharp arrows, and aimed at Xiong Qiahe, preparing to shoot him through. However, just when the 3 of them were about to take action, Zhao Yun, the boss of the 5 dragon generals, stopped the 3 of them and prevented them from taking action. All 3 of them were very surprised by this. So Zhao Yun explained, Your Majesty has reached the level of the Supreme Tiger General. With Yuan Chengdu and a peerless military general, he is no match for Your Majesty. In addition, yesterday the 4 of us besieged Yuan Chengdu but only managed to draw with him. Our army, the morale of the army has inevitably been affected. Now that the Lord can fight 1 against 2 and kill the opponent in an instant, it will not only improve the morale of our army, but also make Your Majesty famous in this world, letting the world know that the Lord's force is definitely the strongest in the world. After Zhao Yun finished speaking, Ma Chao also echoed Zhao Yun's words. After all, in his heart, Lu Feng is unparalleled. However, when Yuan Chengdu called for formation just now, he bluntly said that he wanted to challenge Lu Feng in a duel, which made Ma Chao very unhappy. The reason is that Lu Feng does not have a great reputation in this world, which makes people like Yuan Chengdu dare to touch the dragon's reverse scale. Now, Lu Feng can just use the killing of Yuan Chengdu to strengthen his reputation, just like his 1-on-1 victory over Lu Buletin in front of Hulao Pass, letting the world know that he was victorious. After hearing Zhao Yun's explanation and Ma Chao's, Dian Wei and others agreed very much, so they were not in a hurry to take action. The reality was exactly as Lu Feng predicted. It wasn't until he killed Yu Wenqing that Xiong Qiahe arrived. However, facing the already dead Yuan Chengdu, Xiong Qiahe was horrified. He did not expect that Yuan Chengdu could not even sustain Lu Feng's 4 moves and was killed by Lu Feng so quickly. Even Yuan Chengdu was instantly killed by Lu Feng. He finally knew why his 2 brothers Wu Yunzhao and Wu Tianzi died. It was just because Lu Feng was too strong. Seeing this situation, Xiong Qiuhe turned around and ran away, regardless of the fact that he had just rushed to the battlefield and had not yet fought with Lu Feng. After all, he never thought of facing Lu Feng in a one-on-one fight. He knew that when Wu Yunzhao and Wu Tiangzi joined forces, even he would have absolutely no way to compete, but Lu Feng was able to kill both of them, proving that Lu Feng's strength was definitely superior to his. So what he wanted was to join forces with Yuan Chengdu to deal with Lu Feng. But now that Yuan Chengdu is dead, he is filled with regret. If he had known that he would be killed by Lu Feng so soon, he would not have foolishly run out to die. However, since Lu Feng had noticed him holding a double axe and carrying a familiar copper stick, and immediately guessed that he was Xiong Qiuhe, how could he let him go? So Lu Feng also shouted, "Xiong Qiuhe, since you're here, stay." Then Lu Feng patted Mo Kailan and chased after him. Xiong Qiuhe's chasing the wind horse was also considered a famous horse in the world of the Sui and Tang dynasties, but it was far inferior to Lu Feng's Mo Kailan, and Lu Feng caught up behind him in a matter of seconds. To read the ununderlined version of the novel, please download Fei Lu Xiao. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Three Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 406. When Xiong Qiuhe saw Lu Feng, he came first and knew that his horse was faster than his own. At this time, Xiong Qiuhe knew that he could no longer run away. If he ran again, he would only leave his back to his opponent, making himself even more dangerous. However, in desperation, Xiong Qiuhe came up with a plan. He still pretended to run away desperately until Lu Feng got close. He suddenly twisted his waist and slashed at Lu Feng's waist with the axes in his left and right hands in a circle. However, Lu Feng knew that with Xiong Qiuhe's combat experience, it was impossible not to know that he would die faster if he continued to leave his back to him. But the fact that he was still like this only meant that he had a backup plan. Then Lu Feng instantly remembered Guan Yu's unique skill of drag the knife tactic, which was to pretend to be defeated, but drag the Inu knife to the ground. When the opponent got close, he turned around and slashed at the opponent with the help of horsepower. In history, Guan Yu almost killed Huang Zhong with this move, but Xiong Qiuhe's state at this time was very similar to Guan Yu's use of dragging the knife to time. So Lu Feng kept his whole body tense and on guard. When Xiong Qiuhe's double axe came to cut him in the middle, Lu Feng did not hesitate and thrust the black jade spear in his hand between the two axes in a flash. Immediately afterwards, Lu Feng's wrist holding the gun flicked, and the huge force shook the 2-foot-long black jade gun from side to side like a spring. The vibration of the black jade gun happened to hit Xiong Qiuhe's two axes left and right. At this moment, he felt the huge power that Yuan Chengdu had endured before. It was like a huge force coming from the mountains. The two axes bounced away instantly, and he could no longer hold on. He only felt his arms going numb, and the two axes flew to the left and right. At this time, Xiong Qiuhe finally felt the fear of death, and the slight corners of Lu Feng's mouth looked like the smile of the god of death. But after all, he was also a peerless general with rich combat experience. After a brief moment of confusion, he instantly pulled out the cooked copper rod from his back and headed towards Lu Feng. This cooked copper rod weighed 300 kilograms. Xiong Qiuhe relied on this copper rod to suppress the invincible martial arts master, so he was very confident in his lightning strike. After all, the distance between the two was already very close, and Lu Feng's black jade spear was too long, leaving no room to block it. In addition, the attack was extremely fast, and he had no time to dodge. But just when Xiong Qiuhe happily thought that he was about to succeed in the sneak attack, he saw Lu Feng smile contemptuously, and then raised the Moyo spear again. However, due to the small space, Lu Feng did not use the black jade spear to sweep across and block, but used the tip of the spear to stab the cooked copper stick. Immediately afterwards, a shocking scene appeared. Lu Feng's ink jade spear penetrated the cooked copper rod effortlessly, penetrated the copper rod, and stabbed out directly from the other end of the copper rod. It plunged straight into Xiong Kuahe's chest. Xiong Kuahe instantly felt a sharp pain in his chest. He lowered his head and glanced at the ink jade spear that had pierced his heart, and then looked at his cooked copper stick in disbelief. He never expected that Lu Feng's spear could be so sharp that it could penetrate directly through the copper rod and pierce his heart. How would he know that Lu Feng's black jade spear was modified by the Longcheng blacksmith? Feeler reminds you, 3 things about reading, collecting and recommending. 3 Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 407. This is a magic weapon that can pierce everything. Coupled with its weight of 1,000 kilograms, breaking through the cooked copper rod was as sharp as cutting through tofu with a sharp knife. At this time, Xiong Kuahe felt extremely regretful. If he had known that Lu Feng had such magical power, he would never have come to join the Sui army alone. Not only did his 2 brothers not have revenge, but he also lost his own life. If he could choose again, he would definitely not be so hasty, but should go to Weigong village first. After all, Weigong village has Qin Shubao and Shan Xiangxin, old friends with whom he has a good relationship. Even though Weigong's strength is not yet comparable to that of the Dragon Kingdom, the gentleman has been seeking revenge for 10 years. With his joining, coupled with the plans of Wei Zheng and Su Mogong and the bravery of Qin Kaiyan, Luo Cheng and others, I believe it won't take long. Will develop. During this period, he can continue to make friends with heroes from all over the world and try his best to recruit Pei Yuanqing to Weigong. When the time comes, many heroes such as Pei Yuanqing, Qin Kaiyan, Luo Cheng, Shan Xiangxin and himself will join forces to kill Lu Feng. However, Xiong Kuahe felt the severe pain in his chest and couldn't help but smile bitterly. He was going to die. What was the use of thinking so much? There were never ifs in this world. But that's fine, Wu Yunzhao and Wu Tiangzi didn't leave for long. When they arrived in the underworld, they could also go with them and walk on the Huangquan Nehi Bridge, which would not be in vain for this lifetime of brotherhood. Thinking like this, Xiong Kuahe felt a lot more relaxed. The resentment just now also dissipated. Suddenly he felt a sharp pain in his chest, and then his vision went dark, and he didn't know anything at all. Xiong Kuahe's last burst of sharp pain caused him to twist the black jade gun inserted into Xiong Kuahe's chest, completely breaking his heart. In the blink of an eye, Lu Feng killed you with 4 moves and Xiong Kuahe with 2 moves. This sudden change on the field made the soldiers of both armies fall into silence. As Lu Feng pulled out the black jade gun from his chest and shook the gun above his head with one hand, the soldiers of the Dragon Kingdom let out cheers like a mountain roar and a tsunami. The day before, the 4 major generals fought against Yuan Chengdu, but the battle ended in a draw. Today, Lu Buletin fought Yuan Chengdu again for a whole morning, but still could not defeat Yuan Chengdu, which made the soldiers of the Dragon Kingdom who were used to great victories feel depressed. Finally, now their great dragon emperor has single-handedly killed Yuan Chengdu and another general who looked very brave, igniting their long-dormant enthusiasm again. However, compared to the cheers from the Dragon Kingdom, the Sui side was silent. The Sui army officers never imagined that General Yuan Chengdu, the god of war in their own army, would be killed so easily. Then, Zhao Yun, who was the first to react, gave an order and led his 5 dragon generals to lead their own troops out of the formation and launched an attack on Sui dynasty. When Emperor Yang of Sui dynasty saw the demon-like dragon emperor rushing over to kill him, he was so frightened that he was scared to death and shouted loudly to retreat. The Sui army was already demoralized by the death of Yuan Chengdu. When they saw Emperor Sui Yang fleeing backwards in a hurry, they lost their will to fight. They abandoned their helmets and armor and chased Emperor Sui Yang's personal guards to escape. Yuan Huaji watched the death of his 2 sons for 2 consecutive days, which made him hate Lu Feng extremely. Underscore to read the ununderlined version of the novel, please download Fei Lu Xiao. Three Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 408. Looking at Lu Feng, he wanted to rush forward and cut Lu Feng into pieces. But he knew that even if there were 100 or 1,000 of him, he would not be Lu Feng's opponent. They could even kill him with a wave of his hand, and leaving him alone would only lead to death. Therefore, he had to suppress the anger and grief in his heart and retreat with Emperor Sui Yang under the escort of Emperor Sui Yang's personal guards. Lu Feng looked at the defeated Sui army and lost the interest in pursuing them. He ordered General Walong to lead his own bodyguards to pursue them, while he himself led the Red Blood Dragon riders back to Yangzhou city. With Lu Feng's pursuit order, the soldiers of the 5 legions were very excited. They had just seen the Dragon Emperor display his power, which made all the soldiers feel excited. This feeling is like there is a fire in my heart, and my whole body is full of power waiting to be vented. I can't wait to chase the enemy immediately and kill him. Bing Zhoulanqi, Beima Yakong, and Longcheng Iron Cavalry, as 3 cavalry units, rushed forward under the leadership of Lu Buletin, Zhao Yun, and Ma Chao. Although the Longwu soldiers are heavy infantry, their physical fitness is far superior to that of ordinary people who were transferred from the transfer palace through the transfer order. Even if they march on foot, their speed is not much slower than that of the cavalry. Under the leadership of Dian Wei followed by. As for the Longbowmen, because they were also infantry, they did not have the physical strength of the Longwu soldiers, so they were left at the end. Fortunately, there were many infantrymen at the rear of the Sui army, and they did not escape quickly, so they could catch up. And because the bows and arrows in their hands have a shooting range of up to 100 meters, they can shoot arrows directly at the enemy from a long distance. This also makes the number of enemy lives they harvest in the early stage no less than that of their own team. Soon, the 3 cavalrymen of Zhao Yun, Lu Buletin, and Ma Chao rushed into the Sui army's fleeing camp, dividing the Sui army like 3 sharp arrows, and used the impact of the cavalry to start a massacre. Later, Longwu soldiers also arrived at the battlefield, surrounded and killed the Sui army deserters, and continued to fight until the sun went down and it was already dark before withdrawing the troops and returning to Yangzhou. In this battle, more than 50,000 of Sui's 200,000 troops were killed by the Dragon Kingdom's 15,000 soldiers, and countless others were injured. When Lu Feng asked Zhao Yun and others to pursue them, he had warned Tan that they only needed to pursue them for a while, and there was no need to kill them all. After all, there were too few direct soldiers in their headquarters and there was no way to defend more cities. Moreover, Sun Yu is currently the only person handling government affairs. Although Guojia can also help, but now that he has just arrived in the Sui and Tang dynasties, there are still many powerful enemies around him. Guojia still needs to spend more time on the military, so he is not very helpful to government affairs. Emperor Yang of the Sui dynasty, Yu Wenhua, and his defeated generals fled for the night with the remaining hundreds of thousands of remnants. When they saw that the Dragon Kingdom army did not continue to pursue them, they dared to stop and rest temporarily. As soon as he stopped, Emperor Sui Yang looked at the injured soldiers behind him. He recalled how high-spirited he had been when he just set out on the expedition, and he felt even more resentful. On the way to escape just now, because the 4 concubines were weak and could not keep up with the speed of the army, Emperor Sui Yang abandoned them all on the road without hesitation. Therefore, Emperor Yang of Sui dynasty had already developed some resentment towards Yu Wenhuaji. Filu reminds you, 3 things about reading, collecting and recommending. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 3 Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 409. If he hadn't suggested that he go on a personal expedition, he wouldn't have suffered such a disastrous defeat, and even the road back to Luoyang would have been blocked. and when he thought of those 4 beautiful concubines, Emperor Sui Yang felt distressed. In addition, the Tianbao general Yuan Chengdu whom he relied on most had died in the battle, and Yuan Huaji was almost useless. But now that it was time to escape, Emperor Sui Yang did not show any dissatisfaction with Yuan Huaji. After all, he still needed him to help him make plans and analyze the escape route before it was completely safe. So Emperor Yang of the Sui dynasty took the initiative and asked Yuan Iking, "Our army was defeated miserably today, and all the remaining food, grass, and baggage were lost. What should we do now?" Yuan Huaji suppressed the grief in his heart and replied, "Returning to your majesty, I suggest that our army attack Lucca, try to break through Li Mi's blockade, and return to Luoyang to recuperate." After hearing this, Emperor Sui Yang frowned and asked, "When we just got the news that Li Mi occupied Lucca and blocked our army's retreat, didn't you say that if you attack Lucca and break through, you will be chased by the Dragon Kingdom from behind? Why are you attacking Lucca now? Our army has been greatly damaged. Aren't you afraid that the Dragon Emperor will take the opportunity to join forces with Li Mi to attack from both sides? Will our army be completely wiped out?" Seeing that Emperor Sui Yang did not understand his plan, Yuan Huaji had to explain patiently, "Our army was defeated miserably just now. The soldiers had no intention of resisting. The Dragon Kingdom only pursued them for more than 10 miles. No more pursuit. This shows that Lu Feng has no intention of driving us all out, especially since they currently have insufficient troops and cannot divide their forces to guard more cities. And once our Sui dynasty is wiped out by him, the dragon will have no leader, and other parties will turn back. The rebels will definitely regard the Dragon Kingdom as their most powerful opponent, and even unite to attack Yangzhou. This is what the Dragon Kingdom does not want to see. They will definitely not let our entire army be wiped out, and there will be no joint attack between them and Weigong. The situation of our army." Emperor Sui Yang listened to Yuan Hua and she thought about it secretly for a while, and found that it seemed to make sense, so he said no more and agreed to his plan. After the Sui army arrived at Lucca, they originally wanted to launch a surprise attack quietly, defeat Li Mi at lightning speed and recapture Lucca, and then return to Luoyang with more supplies of food and grass. However, he did not expect that Li Mi had already sent a large number of scouts to pay close attention to the battle between the Sui army and the Dragon Kingdom at the Zhanghuai border, and immediately learned the news that the Sui army was defeated, and both Yuan Chengdu and Xiong Qiahe were killed by the Dragon Emperor. After knowing that the Sui army was defeated, Su Mogong analyzed that the Sui army would definitely make a desperate attempt to attack Lucca, so he had already got the Weigong soldiers in high spirits. Therefore, as soon as the Sui army launched an attack, the Weigong soldiers immediately reacted and launched a defense. Without the leadership of Yuan Chengdu, although the Sui army was large in number, its morale was low and it was no match for the Weigong army. Especially Qin Kaiang, Shan Xiangzin, Wang Bodang, and others were unstoppable. The battle only lasted for half an hour, and the Sui dynasty once again left more than 20,000 corpses and was defeated. In desperation, Yuan Hua had no choice but to suggest that Emperor Sui Yang take his remaining 120,000 soldiers to the north and fled to Wei County. After Emperor Yang of the Sui dynasty arrived in Wei County, there was no longer a crisis. He finally relaxed and began to enjoy his life again. He even directly issued an edict to regard Wei County as the capital of the Sui dynasty. To read the ununderlined version of the novel, please download Fei Lu Xiao. 3 Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 410. Emperor Yang of the Sui dynasty first led an army of 200,000 soldiers to conquer the Dragon Kingdom, which attracted the attention of all the rebels in the world. All forces sent a large number of scouts to pay close attention to this great war. At the beginning of the war, all parties had their own guesses about the final outcome. Some people thought that the Dragon Kingdom's generals were highly skilled in martial arts, so the Dragon Kingdom would win. Some people thought that the Sui dynasty had a large number of troops, and Yuan Chengdu was there, so the Sui dynasty will win. But generally speaking, about half of the people support both sides, so when the final result came out, all the forces in the world were not much surprised. However, although the Dragon Kingdom's victory did not surprise people too much, the next piece of news undoubtedly shocked all the forces, that is, Lu Feng's formation killed Yuan Chengdu and Xiong Qiuhe. Anyone who has heard of Xiong Qiuhe knows that he is the fourth best man in the world. He is invincible in the martial arts world with a cooked copper stick. As for Yuan Chengdu, his name is even more impressive. The title of General Tianbao accompanies him in his expeditions to the north and south. Many years of fighting. The 400 kilograms of gold-plated phoenix wings killed countless people. It can be said that before Li Yuanba was born, anyone who could survive 10 moves under Yuan Chengdu without losing was enough to become the top master. But such a myth of the world was killed by the Dragon Emperor Lu Feng, and according to the descriptions of the scouts from all sides who were watching the battle from a distance, the Dragon Emperor only used 4 moves to defeat Yuan Chengdu. And among these 4 moves, he even knocked Yuan Chengdu's gold-plated phoenix wings away twice, especially when he finally killed him. He also used his own gold-plated pot. As for Xiong Qiuhe, the Dragon Emperor stabbed him with 2 moves. The first move knocked his double axe away, and the second move, the Dragon Emperor's spear, directly penetrated Xiong Qiuhe's cooked copper rod, and finally pierced his heart. Moreover, in addition to Dragon Emperor Lu Feng, the Dragon Emperor also had a general who was dressed in an extremely eye-catching manner. The weapon in his hand was Fang Tian Huaji, which is rarely used nowadays. Moreover, this man fought fiercely with Yuan Chengdu all morning, and hundreds of them. There was no winner in the round. When the news first came out, almost everyone didn't believe it. No one could have imagined that a Dragon Emperor who suddenly appeared with only more than 20,000 troops could actually be able to tie with Yuan Chengdu. Military General. No one wants to believe that the Dragon Emperor, as the king of a country, is able to possess such powerful force and kill a martial arts expert like Yuan Chengdu within a few moves. In addition, among the 6 moves Lu Feng used to kill Yuan Chengdu and Xiong Qiuhe, he knocked Yuan Chengdu's gold-plated rod away twice, which is enough to show his huge arm strength, and his ability to accurately pierce the cooked copper rod shows that the weapons are sharp and the martial arts are powerful. However, even they didn't believe it at first, thinking it was made up by the scouts to exaggerate the Dragon Emperor's power. But as the news spread, scouts from all forces described it like this, and even many Sui soldiers present at the time held the same statement. People had to believe that the Dragon Emperor did have such powerful force. However, it was precisely because Emperor Yang of the Sui dynasty personally led an army of 200,000 to attack Yangzhou. As a result, he not only defeated Tianbao General Yuan Chengdu, but also returned with a great defeat. _Filu reminds you, 3 things about reading, collecting and recommending.